What is your name, please?
My name is Bunny Yeager.
My name is Bunny Yeager.
My name is Bunny Yeager.
Two of these people are imposters. Only one is the real Bunny Yeager, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now, here is our host, Bud Collyer.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Short announcement now to tell you that something else is going to be short. To tell the truth will be shorter than usual tonight, 5 minutes shorter, because of a political broadcast which follows us immediately. And therefore, we should only have 2 problems for our panel to solve, but you know what, panel? I think you're going to have a tough enough time with those. So we'll proceed with the 2.
It should be different.
Yeah. To Tell the Truth is brought to you this week by Anacin, the headache remedy with a special combination of ingredients to relieve pain, fight depression, calm jittery nerves. Anacin.
From doctors' offices across the country come survey replies of what doctors recommend for headache, neuritis, neuralgia pain. 3 out of 4 doctors recommend the ingredients in Anacin. Doctors know with most headaches, pain mounts up. You feel dull, depressed. Tension puts nerves on edge. Now, aspirin has just one pain reliever. At buffering, you still get just one. Only Anacin of the 4 leading headache remedies has special ingredients to relieve pain fast, help overcome depression fast, relax tension fast.
I feel great. Headache's gone and my stomach isn't upset.
And no wonder. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, a combination of ingredients. A particular combination that brings fast relief without upsetting your stomach. Remember, aspirin, even with buffering, has only one pain reliever. Take Anacin with ingredients 3 out of 4 doctors recommend. Anacin for fast, incredibly fast relief.
All right, now let's meet our panel. First, Mr. Tom Poston. Next, sitting in for Kitty Carlisle, Miss Peggy Cass. Then Mr. Don Ameche. And finally, Miss Polly Bergen. Peggy, I speak for all of us when we tell you how happy we are to have you back with us again.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
And it's our pleasure. Yes, open those up now. Your envelopes in front of you, and remove the affidavit cards, if you will, please, so that you can follow along as I read from the original. I, Bunny Yeager, am the wife of a detective sergeant and the mother of 2 little girls. I am recognized by the Professional Photographers of America as one of the 10 top women photographers in the country. My first book, Photographing the Female Figure, has sold 250,000 copies to date. My pictures have appeared in some of the nation's top magazines, including Life, Pageant, and Playboy. I often use myself as the subject for my photographs. As a model, I have won many titles such as Miss Queen Orange, Miss Personality, Miss Pizza Queen, and Miss Trailer Coach. Signed, Bunny Yeager. Three eye-filling young misses, I'm sure you'll agree, each one claiming this time panel to be Bunny Yeager, magazine photographer par excellence. And let's begin this first round of questioning with Polly Bergen.
Thank you, Bud. Number 3, who photographed the famous jumping book?
Philip Holzman.
Number 1, who is sort of the sole photographer of Princess Grace?
Richard Avedon.
Number 3, could you tell me, is that correct?
No, it was Howell Conant.
Number 2, do you work out of New York City as a photographer?
Yes.
Number 3, do you work out of New York City?
No.
Where do you work from?
Miami, Florida.
Miami, Florida. Number 1, where do you work from?
From Orlando, Florida.
Of course. See what I mean, Peggy? Number 2, you work out of New York. Who is the head of the Fashion Institute in New York?
I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question before.
Who is the head of the... Oh, you don't work out of New York?
No, I misunderstood your question.
Oh, I see. Where do you work from?
Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Well, I just wiped out 7 questions.
Tom Poston.
Thank you, Bud. Number 2, do you ever use a jeweler's loop in your work?
No, I don't.
Do you, number 3, do you know what a jeweler's loop is?
Never heard of it.
It's the little magnifying glass that the jeweler puts in his eye to check jewelry and watch repairmen. Do you ever use a jeweler's loop?
No.
Number 1, did you?
No, I never have.
Do you know why a photographer might?
No, I don't.
Do you know what, number 1, do you know what dodging means?
Yes, dodging is when you're trying to cover an area and bring out the light. You dodge it with your hands, but you don't let your hands stand still because therefore you would leave the print on the film. You keep rubbing it around, brings out the light.
Gosh, he sure doesn't know what that answer is. Number 2, what does F5 mean?
F5 is the size.
Size what?
Size what? Of the camera?
The camera, yes.
No, no. Number 3, how do you focus a standard portrait box camera?
Are you talking about a view camera?
Yes.
Well, there's a little knob and you turn it.
And what is the...
Peggy.
Number 3, who was the picture editor of Playboy magazine?
Hugh Hefner.
Number 2, would you please tell me the name of the picture editor of Playboy magazine?
Playboy, Hugh Hefner.
Number 1, the same
Hugh
question.
Hefner.
Boy, my friend must have been fired. What is the home... Number 3, what is the home office of Playboy magazine?
Chicago.
Number 2, would you please answer that question?
Chicago.
Tell me, what kind of a camera... number 3, what kind of a camera do you use?
Well, I use the kind of camera to suit the job. I have all kinds.
Oh. Tell me, number 2, what police force is your husband a detective sergeant on?
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale. And who owns...
Don Ameche.
Thank you, Bud. Number 2, what is the Marine base in Fort Lauderdale?
I don't know. I haven't lived there that long.
Number 1, describe a light meter to me, would you please?
A light meter is put near a person's face at a certain distance to tell the light of it.
Number 3, what speed would you shoot me at right now?
Well, it all depends on what kind of film I had in my camera.
Well,
What kind
let's
of lens I had.
well let's take a high speed.
Well,
what?
supposing I were shooting, as you say, on a high-speed
as I am
film,
right
maybe on a Rolleiflex, I would shoot 50th at 3.5.
Number 2, what are galleys?
Galleys? I don't know.
Number 1, could you answer that, please?
Galleys are the separation between the film.
Number 3, how long ahead of a book, the publishing of a book, could you read the galleys?
I'm sorry, I don't understand that.
How long?
Right, that's all we have time for. That's how long, and it's time to vote. So, as is customary without consultation, panel, will you please mark your ballots now? Voting for number 1, number 2, or number 3. The team of challengers, of course, will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. Everybody mark? I tell you what, let's put a little switch tonight just to be different. Being different by making it shorter. Let's start the voting this time with Polly Bergen.
Sure.
Polly, have you marked your ballot?
No, but is that the way to get me to mark it early?
It's a try, anyway. Okay, for whom did you vote? I say, for whom did you vote?
Well, I'm positive that it's not any of them because they all gave wrong answers. I voted for number 3. Number 1 didn't know what a galley was. She also didn't know that Howard Conant was the correct photographer for Princess Grace. Number 3 knew that, but she didn't answer 2 other questions right. And number 2, I don't know what an F5 is, but it looked like she sort of grasped whatever you said, and I'm stuck with number 3.
Okay, number 3 it is. Don
Can't be one
Ameche,
or
your
two.
vote.
I voted for number 3, Bud. Number 2 didn't know the Marine base in Fort Lauderdale, and she didn't know what galleys, and as Polly said, neither did number 1. So I voted for number 3.
Peggy, which is your choice?
I voted for number 3 because of Howard Conant. Although I always thought Trajari was the picture editor of Playboy.
Well, like you said, maybe he lost his job. Tom, what about your vote?
I voted for number 3 because we're all friends up here on this panel, and I'm not going to go against these people.
No sense in swimming against the tide. Well, all right, let's see how we all did. If we swam against the tide or with the tide, and whether that tide is carrying us the right way or not. as we discover which one of these ladies is the real magazine photographer par excellence. So will the real Bunny Yeager please stand up? Right as rain. Thank you very much, Miss Yeager. Well, now let's find out about the other two young ladies. Number one, would you tell us your real name and what you really do, please?
My name is Claire Chapin, and I'm a former singer with the team of Claire and Hayden.
Thank you. Number two, your real name and what you do, please.
Monica Davis, and I'm a registered nurse.
Sort of makes you want to feel sick, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty nervous.
Well, check on the score now. We find there were 1, 2, 3, 4 correct, therefore no incorrect. But from Anison for you ladies, $150 to spread around between you. And, of course, a gift box of fine products from the makers of Anison. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed your visit. We enjoyed having you here. Good night and good luck. Now here's news of a European discovery that brings hours of relief for minor arthritis pain.
New relief for chronic minor pains of arthritis, rheumatism. Today, a new European discovery brings hours of relief with a special kind of warmth. It's InfraRub with working warmth. InfraRub's working warmth radiates relief, but never burns like old-fashioned rubs or liniments.
It's a wonder how quickly InfraRub's working warmth brings me hours of blessed relief.
Proven in arthritis clinics, InfraRub's working warmth radiates relief.
And now a word from Dristan Nasal Mist.
For sinus congestion and head cold's distress, get Dristan Nasal Mist, first to show proof of relief with this nasograph. Look, almost no air coming through this victim's nostrils. Now, Dristan Mist sprayed into one nostril. In seconds, it penetrates deep into swollen nasal and sinus passages, promotes sinus drainage, relieves pressure, controls post-nasal drip. Now, the nostril sprayed with Dristan Mist shows free breathing restored. Get Dristan Nasal Mist.
Now, panel, let's meet our next team of challengers.
All right.
What is your name, please?
My name is William W. Schmitz.
My name is William W. Schmitz.
My name is William W. Schmitz.
Follow along once more, panel, will you, with your copies of this affidavit as I read it. I, William W. Schmitz, am a member of a 1960 United States Olympic team. I am not an athlete, however. I am a chef, and the third cooking Olympics in which I competed was held in Frankfurt, Germany this month. I started cooking as an apprentice at the age of 13 and worked in leading hotels and inns in both this country and in Europe. I now run my own restaurant in New York City. This year's team of United States chefs flew more than 1 ton of American food to Europe for the competition. Competing against the top chefs from 12 nations, the United States team took the grand prize gold medal, the top award, with the 4 hot dishes and 37 cold platters we prepared. I personally won an individual gold medal for my special soup, which is already served for the panel's approval. Signed, William W. Schmitz. While our challengers are getting seated, we did put the soup in front of you to be tasted. I notice you've all been gulping it down rather lustily. I gather you didn't eat much before you came to the show tonight. But I'd like to know if you can tell me what it is. Polly, what do you think it is? What kind of soup?
Well, first of all, it has oranges in it. I don't know. It tastes slightly like turtle soup,
Yes,
and
it
it
does.
tastes like it has a little bit of curry in it, and it has tomato sections or grapefruit sections, one or the other. And, well, I mean, it's disguised in soup, you know. But whatever it is, it's absolutely excellent. Really,
Good.
it's marvelous.
Don, what kind do you think it is?
Gee, I don't know, Bud.
It is good, isn't it?
Oh,
Delicious.
it's just delicious.
Yeah.
I don't
Don't come
I
up
don't
with
think I'd have the
something sharp.
vaguest idea of reading.
Peggy, what do you think it is?
Well, I think it has a lot of sherry in it, and it had little beignets in it, and it had some kind of meat in it, too. I think. Like oxtails, maybe? I don't know. I retire.
Tom, what do you think it is?
I thought it was terrapin and cooked with wine or spirits of some kind.
Well, you and Polly have done real well, as a matter of fact. That's Mr. Schmitz's specialty, snapper turtle soup. So it is turtle. Okay? And now let's start the questioning with Tom Poston. Tom?
Oh, thank you, Bud. Let me see. Ask number 3. Mr. Schmitz, please. Do you know where Castana's Epicurean restaurant is located?
No, I do not.
Do you know number 2?
No, I don't.
It's sometimes called Epicurean. Do you know where that restaurant is?
No, I don't.
Number 1, can you tell me what is the background for number 2's chef's hat?
You mean not his in particular, but...
No, not his in particular. I mean the chef's hat.
It's known for several hundred years that the chefs has to wear hats.
Do you know... Number 2, do you happen to know anything of the background of that hat?
No, I know it. No, I don't. I agree with number 1.
Number 3, could you tell me who would you say is the most famous chef in the history of cooking?
Escoffier and Oscar of the Waldorf.
Yeah, thank you. Number 3, could you tell me what cordon bleu means?
Cordon bleu?
Yes.
No, I do not know.
Number 2, do you happen to know what cordon bleu means?
Do I have to answer this?
No, the bell rang. You're saved by the bell.
Yes, he's got to answer.
Number 2, what does cordon bleu mean?
Good for you.
Now you have to answer.
Cordon bleu means that the rope.
The rope?
The rope, when the place is filled up, you know, you have the cordon bleu.
Please, number 1, would you please tell me what a cordon bleu is?
I couldn't tell you.
Number 2, who was Fernand Point?
Fernand Point?
Point, P-O-I-N-T.
Point.
I don't know.
Number 3, could you tell me what Billy soup is?
No, I do not.
Number 1, could you tell me what the Guide Michelin is?
Pardon me, will you repeat this again?
The Guide Michelin.
I couldn't tell you.
Number 2, could you tell me what the Guide Michelin is?
Never heard of it.
Number 3, could you?
No, I cannot.
Number 3, where do truffles come from?
Truffles come from?
Yes.
They are made.
Number 2 would...
Isn't everybody?
Truffles come from Germany.
Number 1?
I know they come from Europe. That's all.
Number 2, what are the ingredients of vichyssoise?
Vichyssoise, naturally, that's cold soup. Well, they're made several ways. The way I make it is I put in, of course, consomme and fried onions and little cheese at times. And that way.
Number 3, how would you make scrambled eggs fluffy?
To add a milk to it.
Number 1, would you do that way also, to make scrambled eggs fluffy?
I would do the same.
Number 2, why do you sometimes cook with butter and sometimes with olive oil? In a pan.
Well, frankly, I've been cooking with oil most of the time.
Number 3, why would you cook with butter sometimes and olive oil?
It's required sometimes that you use oil and sometimes butter. Butter gives it a different taste completely.
Yes, I asked.
Polly?
Number 1, where is, it says that you run your own restaurant in New York City. What restaurant is that?
Sacha's restaurant. Sacha's.
Sacha's?
Sacha's, yes.
Do you run the same restaurant, number 2?
That's right, Sacha's Restaurant, 303 Madison Avenue.
303 Madison Avenue. Number 3, what is your specialty in your restaurant?
Oh, well, it's this snapper turtle soup.
Yes.
And Virginia ham with glazed pineapple. It's one of our specialties.
Well, I guess that's it. We've all been gourmet, I think, enough for the moment, so it's time to resolve this entire mystery and see who is who. So will you kindly mark your ballots, panel? And as before, no consultation, and vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. We'll go back to the old order now, but tell me as soon as you've marked your ballots. Is everyone marked? Everyone?
No.
Will you mark, Polly, please? One final look, and down goes the number. There right, probably voting for the snapper turtle. Tom, for whom did you vote?
Well, I'll give you my reason for voting for number 2. Number 3 pronounced the name of the restaurant Sasha. And, I mean, number 1, I'm sorry. Number 1 pronounced Sasha, the name of the restaurant. My time is up.
All right, Peggy, your vote.
I voted for number 2 because he gave the address of his restaurant, which proves that he wants business, and I feel he's got a rooting interest in it.
Don?
Well, I voted for number 1. Neither 2 nor 3 knew where truffles come from, and I thought any chef from Europe should know where they came from. And number 2 didn't know that vichyssoise. I thought one of the bases is potatoes, and he didn't know that. There's also hot vichyssoise. Number 1, I didn't know how to make eggs fluffy. I don't know. I voted for. I mean, number 3. I voted for number 1.
Feathers. Polly?
Well, I agree with Don that number 2 didn't know how to make. I mean, he left out potatoes, and vichyssoise is potato soup. But maybe he forgot. But I voted for number 3 because I forgot that he said you made truffles. Which I don't think you do. I think you find them already made somewhere in the ground. But I think it's number 1.
All right, there we have it now. The final mystery for this evening on our shortened version. Let's find out which one of these gentlemen is the real Olympic winning chef. Will the real William W. Schmitz please stand up? Thank you, sir, very much. Thank you. All mysteries settled? What's the matter?
No, I was just saying, if I just had remembered about the truffles, about his answer, no. I forgot his answer to the truffle question. But Tom, go ahead, ask Tom.
I'm puzzled about how he
to make it real fast.
Failed to know what cordon bleu meant.
I don't know. We'll have to find that out later.
Why don't we find that out?
Yes, we'll find that out later. Number 2, would you tell us your real name and what you really do, please?
My name is Sandro Glantz. I'm a sporting goods salesman in New York City.
And number 3, your real name and what you do.
My name is Henry Peters. I'm chief skating instructor at the Rockefeller.
When he was standing up there, he looked familiar.
He didn't have his skates on.
He really did. He looked familiar. And I was saying, I know him. And I thought, well, maybe I saw him in the restaurant. I don't know. My daughter.
Well, there you stand. And we have, let me see, 1, 2, 3 incorrect votes at $250 each for a grand total of $750 from Addison and a gift package of all of the fine products from the makers of Addison. Thanks very much, gentlemen. Good night and good luck to you. Now something short and sweet from our alternate sponsor, Helene Curtis.
Tender touch, look younger, feel smoother all over with tender touch.
New Dry Skin Bath Oil by Helene Curtis. Add just a touch of tender touch to your bath to end dry skin problems. Tender touch smooths away rough, flaky skin, moisturizes dry skin. Tender touch seeps deep into thirsty pores, acts like natural skin oils, gives your skin a fresh, dewy look. You look younger, feel smoother all over. Tender touch bathes birthdays away, protects you with a faint silky dew, keeps your precious skin oils from evaporating.
Look younger, feel smoother all over with tender touch.
New Dry Skin Bath Oil by Helene Curtis.
Time's all gone. Good night, panel.
Good night.
Bud Collyer saying good night from Addison. And
the preceding program was pre-recorded.
This week's show has been brought to you by InfoRub, the European discovery for hours of relief from chronic minor pain of arthritis, rheumatism, muscular aches. This is Roger Foster saying good night from To Tell the...
Stay tuned for a special political broadcast next on the CBS television network.
These are the people of the United States as they listen to Senator John Kennedy's call for new American leadership in foreign policy. Everywhere the Democratic candidate has traveled in this intensive campaign, he has spoken clearly and forcefully on the great issues that face America. And tonight we bring you excerpts from the famous speech on foreign policy which he gave in Portland, Oregon.
We are concerned that we shall have vigorous executive leadership in meeting the problems that the great republic faces here at home. But we are also concerned that the United States shall maintain the peace and maintain our security and maintain our strength and our prestige. And I do not believe that there is any American who can be satisfied with that strength and that prestige, as it is reflected in events around us in the southern half of the globe. Americans wonder why it was that Africans, who some years ago quoted Thomas Jefferson and Lincoln and Franklin Roosevelt, now quote Karl Marx in the Congo. They wonder why the nations of South America, who once were engaged in a great enterprise called the Good Neighbor Policy, should now stone the Vice President of the United States. They wonder why America, which was once regarded in the 1930s with so much friendship on the island of Cuba, should now be reviled and attacked by the erratic leader of that island only 90 miles from our shore. They wonder why the Soviet Union has an economic growth of 2 to 3 times as much as the great productive country of the United States. And they wonder why it was last year that the United States had the lowest percentage of economic growth increase of any major industrialized society in the world. They wonder why Russia is turning out twice as many scientists and engineers as we are, and they are entitled to an answer. We must have an administration that will rebuild our military strength until America is once again first across the board. Secondly, we must have an administration that will revamp its goals in science and education until American science and American education are once again preeminent. Third, we must have an administration that moves rapidly to shape our image here at home until it is clear to all the world that the revolution for equal rights is still an American revolution. Fourth, we must have an administration that moves forward on the road to peace until we demonstrate to a watching world, as we sit on a most conspicuous stage, that we are willing to devote the same energies to the struggle for peace as we now do on the struggle for arms. Fifth and finally, we must have an administration that holds out a helping hand to all those who desire to be independent, that assists them in meeting their own problems, assists them on the road to freedom as a friend, not as a paternalistic country that desires to use them in a Cold War struggle.
Let's get ahead in the world. Let's have new American leadership for the 60s. John Kennedy for president.